Who's saying the prayer today? Okay. Ready, Bob? Yep. At this time, we'll call to order the January 5th, 2016 City Council meeting. The Honorable Mayor Robert Odekirk presiding. Prior to starting the meeting, we will have the invocation by Pastor Herbert Brooks from St. John's Baptist Church, correct? And he will also, after the prayer, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You can stand with me, please. As you all know, one of your city council persons, Betty Gavin, brother, passed away. I'm sure you all know, so certainly we want to keep her and her family in our prayers as well. Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity as we come lifting up our government on tonight. You record in your word in Isaiah 9, verse number 6, unto us a child is born, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. It is that government in the city of Joliet that we love to call City of Champions on tonight that we're lifting up to you tonight. Bless this council, this mayor, all of our officers and elected officials of this city, as well as all of our residents that make up this fine city called Joliet. All these blessings we ask in our Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin, absent. She had a death in her family. Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland is absent. He notified me he would not make it back in town in time. Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
If Sue Shatina could please step forward to the microphone. Mike, can you give me a hand?
Sure.
Sue, of course, is the wife of former longtime councilman Joe Shatina. Sue has generously donated these pictures, which she has painted. We're going to hang them at City Hall. I think they're so terrific. I wanted Sue to come down personally to be congratulated and get the congratulations from the council. But on behalf of the city, thank you so much, Sue. These are beautiful.
Thank you. I just wanted to say one thing, that the people in the city of Joliet who have so generously renovated these beautiful places and these beautiful homes in this town, they have been kind of my inspiration to start painting after 25 years of laying off. So I thank them, and I think they should be generously thanked.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sue. It's terrific.
You know, also, Sue just recently did one in the Cathedral of St. Raymond and donated it to the cathedral. And she's done other paintings also. And I think these all start, though, with a photograph that Joe takes, right? So it's probably that picture that Joe takes really sets it off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's amazing.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Sue.
Can we get a picture of all you with the pictures in between?
Move in front, have move in front of the podium.
There we go.
Move.
All right, ready, set. Perfect. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a presentation, White Architects for the new courthouse.
Mayor, we have Jason Dwyer of White and Associates to do a presentation on the conceptual architectural design of the new courthouse in downtown Joliet.
I'd just like to say that I think it was on December 1st, the county board had a committee of the whole, and the presentation that Jason's going to do, he actually gave that day, and it was an outstanding presentation. And I know that we are going to be considering the IGA with the county, the intergovernmental agreement with the county, I believe at our next meeting, Jim, on the 19th.
I believe so.
Yeah, and so I thought it'd be a good idea that the mayor and, in fact, Mayor, I think you may have been at that presentation as well. Yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea that the whole council kind of see Jason's presentation because it was outstanding. And as you'll see, when Jason goes through the presentation, that I think the county has really given us an A product here. For our downtown, and we have a number of county officials that are here. Actually, Chief Judge Richard Shainstead is here in attendance. The county board speaker Jim Mustis is also here. I thought I saw Jim. County board member Don Moran, board member Annette Parker is here. Ray Tumanello is also with us today. Pastor Herb Brooks, who did our invocation, is here. County Board member Lawrence Staley Ferry is here. Bruce Freifeld, the County Board's Chief of Staff. I saw Bruce come in as well. Also thought I saw Tim Broderick here with the Joliet Park District. Tim, thanks for coming as well. And then we also have Mike Frizzalone is here, the chairman of the Finance Committee for the county, and Reagan Freitag is here as well, who's chairman of Capitol. And I think Reagan and Mike are actually going to give just kind of a brief overview and an introduction to Jason before we get started. So I don't know if you two want to come up to the podium there. And again, we do thank the county for coming, and we appreciate the partnership that we've actually been developing here over the last 3-4 years. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you all for being here, especially my fellow colleagues with the County Board. I think it's pretty incredible that we're sitting here together. And I know that some of you have been to some of our County Board meetings, and that's very appreciative. For the past several months, we've been all working together to try to start this project with the courthouse, and I think it's a great thing that we've all come to an agreement that the council as well as the county board will vote on, and I believe will approve, and will help us with our financial plan with the courthouse. We're really happy about that, and I think this is the start of a beautiful relationship, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future, and thank you all so much. If there's anything you guys need, please don't hesitate to contact us. White Company has been our architects on this. White and Company have been our architects on this, and at this point, the presentation is only a sliver of what we have in the future, but we're very proud and we're looking forward to working with them also, and I hope you feel the same. Thank you.
And what Reagan's talking about on the courthouse, and that's what Jason will be talking about, doesn't even scratch the surface, because in our plan, we are also looking at breaking ground probably in the spring for the Sheriff's Department out of Lairway Road for a new building there. And in our ultimate plan, we also plan, once this building is done, to look at a new health department building, which we'll probably unveil at our workshop on when the timing for all of that happens. And in regards to the IGA, we will be voting on that this month, so we'll be ahead of you guys. So once we pass it, it should be easy for you guys to come on board.
Perfect.
So with that, we'd like to introduce Jason, and he'll give you a run through on the new courthouse
Great.
conception.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Dwyer with White & Company. We're very excited to give you a brief presentation here on what we've done so far working with the county on this new courthouse project. We've been working on this for several years now, most recently focused on the courthouse and really the concept design. As Reagan said, this is really just kind of the first step. It's our conceptual design. We have a lot more work to do with the county to bring this to reality, but we're anxious to move forward. Our team actually is, White & Company is the lead architect on the project. We're partnered with HOK, who's a national courthouse design firm, and another group, CGL, who's been working with us on a lot of the programming. So we've spent the last year really focused on programming and planning work, and I'll walk you through kind of where we're at right now at this point in time. So I think many of you know that the county has been looking at really holistically what their needs are throughout the county. So what I'm showing here is just a graphic. One of the major components is how best to serve the constituents of the county as a whole. So one of the major premises of the master plan was to have core facilities continue to be focused in the downtown Joliet area here, but also the idea of expanding operations in the northern part of the county and then down the road a little bit in the eastern part of the county. It's such a large geographic county that bringing a lot of those services to constituents where they live is important as well. So in the north and east, there's going to be court functions, but the bulk of the court functions will be in the downtown Joliet area here with proximity to the jail and the other functions downtown. So I think many of you know that the county acquired the property directly west of the current courthouse, highlighted in kind of that orange color there, the project site, former First Midwest Bank building, and that's going to be the site of the new courthouse. That property also has a little bit of additional land on the south side of Washington Street. We focus most of our energy right now on the main block that's bounded by Joliet, Jefferson, Ottawa, and Washington. But a lot of the planning we've been doing is focused on how that could potentially continue to expand in the future as needed, whether it's parking or other supportive functions, just to make sure that there's a good cohesive plan for continued growth as the county continues to grow. This is a little bit detailed in terms of being diagrammatic of what the facility is going to include. The court system is made up of a number of different functions. There's the courtrooms themselves and the direct support for judges' chambers and all the other elements that support that, law library, jury commission. But also there's circuit clerk, state's attorney, public defender, probation, all these supportive agency functions that make up the entire judicial system. So in this building, we're focused on what I'll call the core court set, so courtrooms, and all the direct supportive functions along with the circuit clerk. We've got a number of different courtrooms. What you're seeing in the diagram there is essentially a stack for the building that shows how many courtrooms would be occupying each floor. I'll show you in a minute here that the building is an L-shaped solution with a taller element and then a shorter wing element. The shorter element accommodating a lot of the office functions, clerk space, supportive things like jury commission and other support offices. I talked before about satellite courts as part of the overall plan. We've done a lot of projections for 30 years out into the future on what the needs of the system are going to be, a lot of painstaking analysis to determine how many courts would be needed, how many in downtown, how many in the satellites. What we've arrived at right now is a plan to accommodate 34 courtrooms in the main facility in downtown Joliet here. So as it relates to the design of the building, we spent a lot of time giving consideration to Joliet and the proud history and heritage of Joliet with the strong statement of Joliet limestone and then some of the other elements of steel with your great bridges crossing the river. And one of the things that came out of some of our early workshops is a desire to really fit in with the neighborhood, be respectful of the history of Joliet, but also have a more forward-looking approach. There's a great opportunity here, I think, to develop a building that can continue to be a catalyst for revitalization of the downtown. I think any time that you're looking at a significant project in any urban area, it's a great opportunity to continue to expand the footprint and have facilities that you're proud of, which continues to spur additional economic development in any downtown area. So while we want to be respectful of the past and true to the heritage, we also want to have a forward-thinking approach. So as we looked at that, one of the things that we've been talking with the county about is what's being done in other parts of the country. So you'll see on the screen here a number of different images of significant court projects that have been done in the last 10 years throughout the country. Projects like the Ferguson Federal Court project in the upper left. And that's in Miami, projects in Denver. So just to get a feel for what modern court facilities are looking like around the country to make an appropriate statement for a new building. So we took a lot of that information and synthesized it with what we understand and see of the downtown and came up with this. So this view here You can see on the left side of the screen is the existing courthouse. So this is at the corner of Ottawa and Jefferson, looking at what is proposed for the new building conceptual design. So I mentioned before, we have a more significant tower element that accommodates a lot of the courtrooms themselves, and then a smaller section, kind of a wing part of the building for the office functions. We felt it was appropriate to have a reasonable, I'll call it a forecourt or entry element to the facility. So you can see that on the corner, kind of a sense of entry to the building. The existing courthouse has a little bit of that going on right now with the setback from the street there. We felt that in this case, we wanted to occupy a little bit more of the block, but still have that sense of arrival, so you're not just walking off the sidewalk directly into the building. Also, a lot of issues come into play there with just providing appropriate security separations and so forth from the street. But basically, it's three major elements: the tower element, the smaller wing building, and then this entry pavilion, which is kind of right front and center. This gives you a little bit of an aerial perspective of what the building looks like on the site, gives you a little better view of what that forecourt would look like. You can see too, we have a notion of a vegetated green roof on the lower section of the building, more of an environmental focus. I think we're gonna spend a lot more time with the county talking about that as we progress, but there's been a strong desire to have a very environmentally sensitive building design. So that's just one piece of the puzzle in that regard. So this gives you kind of a closer in view of what the entry progression will look like. The building main floor is going to be elevated above street level about 3 feet. So we'll have stairs and accessible ramps to get into the building. And this is kind of the main view of what I call that entry pavilion that I mentioned earlier. A very transparent view. There has to be obviously a significant security presence as you enter a court facility like this, but we want that to be very visible and transparent so people have a sense of the transparency of justice. And it feels like more of an inviting place, even though it's a very large municipal building. Just a couple more images here on the interior to give you a feel for what that security progression and what the view from the inside out might look like. So I'll walk you just quickly through here. Is probably the less exciting part, the plans, but I'll go quickly through this. We have a lot of the service functions of the building really oriented toward the Washington Street side. Felt that was a little lesser intensity in terms of the access to the street. So components like the Sally Port and vehicular access for servicing and that is going to be situated toward the Washington Street side. The main lobby facing toward the northeast there at Ottawa and Jefferson. First floor has a lot of the high capacity elements like the circuit clerk, customer service components, jury commission, traffic court, the higher use spaces within the building. We are proposing a lower level for some secure parking and some secure holding. The second floor starts to have a lot more of the office functions. You can see in the wing of the building there, a lot of the circuit clerk functions, and then a start of some of the courtroom elements with 2 courtrooms on that floor. Then as we continue to progress up the building, the left to right section of the building, which is the tower section of the building, is starting to have more regular appearance with the number of courtrooms there, looking at 4 courtrooms per floor. The wing of the building, again, with supportive functions of law library, state's attorney, sheriff's functions, as well as some specialty court elements as well. I mentioned before the vegetated roof. So at the 5th floor of the building, the lower wing drops off and we have the vegetated roof there. We also have a cafeteria element that we're looking at in terms of sizing to accommodate the folks within the building, jurors that would be doing service within the building, and then continuation of the courtrooms. The rest of the floors are pretty regular, consistent courts. There's going to be criminal courts, civil courts, family courts, a whole variety of different types of court functions in there. So slightly different sizing to those. And so that kind of steps its way up through the building. Also accommodates a lot of functions that the current courthouse does not have with on-floor secure court holding, a lot of the elements that modern court designs have that the current courthouse is lacking right now. So we're looking at 10 floors right now for the main part of the building, and then a penthouse level for a lot of the mechanical and supportive functions. And then I mentioned as well the lower level basement area. So just a couple other views. One of the things I mentioned before in terms of our thoughts around sustainability and environmental sensitivity of the building, you saw the primary facade of the building facing north was a glass curtain wall that's situated on the public corridor portion of the building. Anybody who's been in the current courthouse knows that the main public corridors right now have courtrooms on either side, so it's kind of a dark and sort of dreary place to be. We're trying to make the court experience as comfortable as possible, knowing it's a high-stress environment. So having a lot of glass on the one side, doing it on the north side so we have less concern about intensive heat gain from a southern-facing glass. The east and west facades we're treating with specialty vertical sunshades to control the heat gain, and then kind of working the way around the building. On the south side, we have glass, that's a lot of the judges' chambers, but we've got a lot of sun shading devices to control that so that in the summertime it's the sun's blocked, and in the wintertime we're letting that sun in to take advantage of the natural heating. So a lot of different gestures in terms of how it's put together, but still focusing on sort of a steel and limestone. The main center section of the building looking at sort of a limestone or synthetic stone material. Some metal panel and glass is kind of the primary elements of the building design. So this was, I think, our last or second to last slide, just kind of a notion of the past, present, and future of the courts, going back to the old courthouse in 1884, the current courthouse, which was done in 68, and then a target for the new courthouse of 2019, 2020. We're still kind of working on the exact dates of that, but I think we're very excited about the project. I know the county is as well, and we're just looking forward to keeping things moving forward. So I don't know if you have any questions for me. I'm happy to answer any if you'd like.
No question, just a comment. This is really exciting. Thank you. Great job. Great job. Really want to thank the county board for stepping up, both the Democrats and the Republicans who are here tonight, who stepped up and worked with the city. And also thank Councilman Girl and Councilwoman Quillman that helped negotiate for this. So I think it's a good, well, thank you for the commitment you're making to downtown Joliet. I think it's great to see two elected bodies working together.
Thank you.
Amazing. Next on the agenda is under Mayor Odekirk appointments.
Like this, and we're not done because we need to talk about Chicago Street. So, but thank you again. This looks terrific.
Mayor, I just wanted to say that the city has made a job offer to Chris Regis, who is working with the state's attorney's office right now. Had over 10 years of service with the city of Joliet and the police department, who was part of the interview process when we had the vacancy in the corporate counsel position, and who I believe would, the mayor and I have discussed, is a viable candidate for the position of Inspector General position.
Yes, and I would then nominate him tonight for approval by the council as Inspector General. It's not a secret. We've discussed in an executive session for some time. I've known Chris for a long time on a professional basis, both as a police officer and working with him at the courthouse. I could tell you he's a man of integrity. He also, if you've seen his resume, he's one of the top prosecutors in Will County. So it would be a real grab for the city of Joliet to have him come work on board. Again, I know he's interviewed previously for other positions with the city. I think he'd be a great choice. I could tell you, I've had very candid conversations with him. And Chris has been around the block. He worked there as a policeman. He's been a state's attorney for 15 or 20 years. So he knows, some of the stories and things that have happened here at City Hall. And I campaigned. I was very clear during the campaign. One of my goals was to change the culture at City Hall. I spoke with Chris again very candidly about it, and I know he's also on board. He supports what we're trying to do here, which is honest and open government. So I think he'd be a great choice. I think his resume speaks for himself, and I obviously would appreciate the support of the council on this.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded to appoint Chris Regis to serve as the Inspector General for the City of Joliet. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone that would like to speak on any agenda items this evening?
For all those who are not consciously aware of who I am, Robert Webb. On reflective thinking, when you first brought this idea up about the Inspector General for the city, and I mentioned to you that the Office of the Illinois Attorney General already has a person that carries out that particular function, who is vested with the duty and the responsibility to go anywhere to conduct investigations in terms of, the internal affairs of any municipality. To me, it was seen to be a waste of money to hire somebody to carry out a function which the Illinois Attorney General's office already has a person that carries out that particular function with personnel who is not affiliated with the city of Joliet in any way, form, or fashion, police department, the state's attorney, or any of us. It seemed to me that that would be a better choice to call on the Illinois Attorney General's Inspector General's office or the Office of the Governor's Inspector General's office to carry out that particular function, since that's a function that's already being paid for by the people of the state. So why spend more money of the people of the state for an Inspector General here at City Hall? It doesn't make any sense economically or principally when we have an Inspector General at the Illinois Attorney General's office on Randolph Street in the city of Chicago.
Thank you.
Any other citizens? Seeing none. Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
So motion seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Council committee reports, Public Service Committee report.
Councilman McFarland's not here tonight.
Oh, I guess I'll step up then. Give me 1 second to cut. Sure. I can't have you skip me because I'm the only one.
He's thinking about the gavel.
Well, actually, we met yesterday here in the council boardroom, and frankly, all we did do is go through all the memos, change orders, and invoices that you'll be seeing tonight. And it was myself and Councilman McFarland. Councilwoman Gavin was unfortunately unable to attend because of the passing of her brother. And we found everything to be in order. Basically, it was just housekeeping. And that's all we did at the meeting.
Thank you.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of minutes. It is recommended the minutes of the special meeting held on December 7th, the minutes of the special meeting held on December 14th, and the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 15th, 2015 stand approved as recorded. Position vacancies. It is recommended the city manager be authorized to fill 1 police sergeant position with subsequent vacancies, 2 police patrol officer positions, 1 clerk typist position with subsequent vacancies, and 1 residential property inspector in the neighborhood services division and subsequent vacancies. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye?
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl. Motion carried. Ordinances and resolutions. Under ordinances, Council Memo 2-16, an ordinance accepting the acquisition of right-of-way for the improvements to the intersection of Caton Farm Road and Essington Road, parcels 3, 4, and 11. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
Move to approve.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilman,
Mayor, one question. Jim, there was no request by the petitioner or by the property owners to table this one, or the attorney?
No, we met with Mike Hanson, their attorney, earlier this afternoon, and we got all the issues resolved.
Okay, thank you.
It was motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 3-16, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a paratransit local share agreement with PACE and to apply for grant funds available under Title 20 of the Social Security Act. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 4-16, a resolution appropriating funds for the acquisition of right-of-way for the improvements to the intersection of Caton Farm Road and Essington Road, parcels 3, 4, and 11. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 5-16, resolution approving an agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for the construction and construction engineering for the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 6-16, resolution appropriating funds for the construction costs associated with the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 7-16, a resolution appropriating funds for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 8-16, resolution authorizing the acquisition of real properties. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Award of contracts, Council Memo 10-16 to award a contract for the Well 5D Rehabilitation Project. Council Memo 11-16, award a contract for the Well 11D Rehabilitation Contract. Council Memo 12-16, award a professional services agreement for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Caton Farm Road and Essington Road intersection improvements project. It's recommended Council Memos 10-16 through 12-16 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 14-16 to approve change order number 2 for the Ida Street, Rayner Avenue, Woods Avenue roadway improvements project 2015, and Council Memo 15-16 approve change order number 3 for the Doris Avenue roadway improvements project 2015. It's recommended Council Memos 14-16 and 15-16 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. City manager report.
I just want to remind council and the public that our next regular pre-council meeting is Martin Luther King Day, and City Hall will be closed, and so Tuesday will be a combined council pre-council meeting. I also have a request for a brief closed session.
Next is new business not for final action or recommendation.
Any new business?
Public comments. Charles Craig Jr.
Good evening to the mayor and to the council. Upon reflection and thinking back, previous times I appeared before the city council, and will recall that I sought that the council to provide investigation action against Barsh and Sons Liquor, Wrench Liquors, employed for the violation of the city, my citizenship rights guaranteed under the Article 1, Section 20 of the Constitution of the State of Illinois in the city of Joliet, resident rights guaranteed under Chapter 9.5, Article 1, Section 9.5-2 of the ordinance of the city of Joliet. I am seeking that the council take action that the Illinois Department of Human Rights had issued a determination that there was substantial grounds to prove violation of the rights of complain of being violated for the action against Wrench Liquors. I'm here tonight to say that, you know, that every city, every town have a ordinance code, and these individual has been charged by human rights with the substantial evidence to support the allegation. And last time I was here, the former mayor and the new mayor state that this could be some type of action to enforce as far as suspending the license, revoking the license, or maybe even closing the business down. So I'm here tonight, and I have the documents. Not that I'm just saying it, I have the documents from Human Rights that he was charged with substantial evidence in my behalf and my mother and my father, and I'm speaking for them, they's absent. So,
If you could give me those documents, I'll take it to the liquor commissioners and we'll take a look at it.
okay, because I think there's, you know, there's enough ground here, you know, that was rights, you know, was violated.
Okay.
And, you know, when I was here, the owner of the business and the attorney, you know, he came in, he was boasting and bragging, you know, about that he was going to win, he was going to prevail in human rights. Well, the thing about it was human rights, they haven't even started the investigation. They haven't even started yet. It wasn't even completed. So it wasn't completed like a couple months down the road. And so when it was completed, they found them at fault in
Okay.
violation.
If you give me those documents, we'll take a look at them.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
And thanks for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Robert Webb.
On behalf of the reasonable thinking human beings among the people of the state of Illinois, particularly here in the Joliet-Will County area community, I extend this council our greetings of peace and friendship. I'd like to put on this council's mind that if you think about it, when the resistance movement against the British monarchy won the Revolutionary War, they set up this republic and set up three branches of government: judicial branch, legislative branch, and executive branch. These three branches were set up for the sole purpose of keeping the other branch in check, make sure that they didn't get out of order. In the late 1800s, there's a group of lawyers that formed the American Bar Association. It's a professional, non-for-profit organization that's organized and existing under the laws of the state of Illinois, headquarters in Chicago. Subsequently sent our lawyers to different states to set up local chapters, providing with, you know, certain type of benefits for being a part of the union. All lawyers pass the bar exam, issue a certificate from the Supreme Court to practice as an officer of court in the judicial branch of government. As we all know, the judicial branch of government is a separate branch from the legislative branch. And it's a conflict of interest for any person that's part of the judicial branch to be involved in the legislative branch as an elected official. It's a conflict of interest. Which draws me to you, Robert Odekirk, Mayor, member of the Will County Bar Association, probably the American Bar Association. It's my opinion that it's a conflict of interest for you to sit here as mayor of the city of Joliet in the legislative branch of the government, or being an officer of the court in the judicial branch of the government. I brought to this council's attention concerning some of the improprieties that's taking place over the Will County Courthouse. I made a statement, well, we're not going to initiate a class action suit for you, Mr. Webb. Well, it wasn't for me, it was for the people whose rights were violated under the Fifth Amendment when they changed that bail bond and included information in there, manipulating people into signing that bail bond, not telling them that they're waiving their rights under the Fifth Amendment. So I ask you all to, you refuse to do that. So it seems like it's a conflict of interest. I mentioned, well, you can't serve two masters at the same time. You can't be over in the judicial branch playing buddy-buddy with these people, and at the same time be over in the legislative branch. You gotta be one or the other. When the mayor of the city of Chicago, former mayor, Richard Daley, when he became mayor, he was at one time state's attorney. He withdrew from the judicial branch. President of the United States, Obama and his wife are lawyers, but they withdrew from the judicial branch because it's a conflict. Now, recently, over at the Will County Courthouse, where, you frequently, happen to be at, and I heard him call your name over the PA system. Come to such a courtroom. How does that look when you say, okay, well, the mayor of the city of Joliet is my attorney? So,
It's
when you
coming
read
up
the
on 4 minutes,
Constitution-
Robert. You have to wrap it up.
When you read the Constitution, when you really think about how this republic is set up, right?
It's at 4 minutes. Your time's up.
Well, again, I'm of the opinion that you should step down either as a member of the Will County Bar Association or leave these chambers as the mayor, because it's a conflict.
All right, thank you.
Not be in two branches of the government at the same time.
Thank you. Just to clarify, I'm not a member of the judicial branch of government. That would be a judge or the state's attorney. Excuse me, your comments are done, Robert.
Certificate from the
Robert,
Supreme Court.
take a seat. Your comments are done.
As an officer of the court.
Officer Clement? The judicial branch of government would be a judge or an elected official who works for Will County government, and I obviously am not that. I'm a licensed attorney, as you mentioned, like President Obama or President Clinton or other elected officials. Thank you. Joe?
Chris Pedersen?
Statesman IFB Pro, Christopher Person, 702 Vine Street, Joel, 65. To this distinguished body of councilmen and councilwomen, I want to address full council, Leo Council, and Chief City Manager James Hogan in direction of our great city of Joliet, City of Chambers, Crossroads, America, and the 2016 year ahead. I want to see our city council work in the next year to finish off several major projects, including Evergreen Terrace with Holstein Management, the revitalization of our city itself and the city downtown Joliet downtown Joliet corridor, and the U.S. project at Holboat Road, Route 6, with the correct superstructure bridge over the Des Plaines River to Center Point Way. If I could have council approval, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments? Mayor and council comments are next.
Councilman?
Mayor, I have no comments. I'd just like to extend my condolences to Councilwoman Gavin and her family for the loss of her brother.
Yeah, myself and my family would extend and have extended our condolences to Councilwoman Gavin and her family on the loss of her brother.
My condolences as well. There was an item today that happened. There was an accident just before the council meeting this evening, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Councilman Girl, because this is your district. It happened at Theodore and Great Ridge and Roth, and I guess there were several squad cars. And anyway, to make a long story short, the folks that live out there have been trying to get a stop sign for many, many years. And according to traffic studies and accidents, it's not feasible, it's not warranted. But I had a constituent call me at the last minute, and he said, is this not enough evidence now that we need this stop sign? So can we take another look at it? Maybe public safety could take a look at it and maybe get a stop sign out there just to appease these residents. Because I know a couple years ago, there was another accident, and it took out the 2 backyards of the folks that back up to Theodore, and then hit the embankment, took out the backyards, the pool, and then ended up across the street in another subdivision. So they use it as a drag race, like a speedway. So if we could look into that, I'd appreciate it. And just want to say happy, healthy New Year to everyone. Thanks.
Just express my sympathy to Councilwoman Gavin on the loss of her brother, and thank Councilman Groen and Mayor for arranging for the presentation tonight. I think it was quite impressive, as everyone said.
Thank you. I also would like to extend my condolences to Councilwoman Gavin and her family. And then also, my thanks to Jim Trisna, to the men and women of the street department who are responsible for the snow plowing. I've gotten a ton of compliments so far this year. I don't want to jinx us, but I think we're doing really well. I saw city trucks out spraying today for the storm that we're expecting in a couple of days. It seems like that it's beet juice that we're spraying is really working well. So if you could pass along the compliments from me and the council to your people, and tell them to keep up the good job.
I would have to echo your comments. I got nothing but praise. Like, everybody was out there, the streets were terrible, and they're just perfect. So, tell the street department. I think I sent you an email as well, Jim, regarding such. So, great job, guys.
Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance, pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will be adjourned?
If we don't make that motion, can we just leave, Jim? Yeah, I'll make a motion to do that.
Second.
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilman Turk. Councilman Turk.
Councilman Turk. Like Turk.
Gotta vote.